Welcome back. We are looking at the vrittis and their five-way classification. The vrittis are the varied operations of the mind, its activities, its engagements, fluctuations, modifications, changes, and alterations. We call this knowing. When we say we know, we mean that the mind has engaged with, has attached itself to something. The vritti has been triggered. In the earlier discussion, we saw pramana as a vritti. It is the pramana vritti, through which we know of our reality. We touch, see, hear, smell, taste, and we know. Now we look at viparyaya. Viparyayo mithyajnanam atadrupa pratishthitam. When we say we know, do we really know? Awkward question. But really, we do realize that we don't ever seem to know, but are in a constant process of knowing. Knowing better, deeper, growing more and more intimate with our realities. How then should we classify what we know till we know better? Viparyaya. I am revolted by what I see, shocked, you see. I jump back in horror, in surprise. Then I look closely and I find, well, it isn't that bad at all. And sometimes I even end up liking and loving what I see. Viparyaya. It could be the other way around. I am loving what I see, and then as I look closely, I find it is actually quite horrifying. And I am horrified and sometimes even ashamed to admit that I loved it at one point. Viparyaya. Such knowing is called mithya. It is the illusion of knowing. Interestingly, it is not a moment of knowing and then not knowing. We go through about 5 different stages from this knowing to the realization that, well, we don't know after all. And what we thought we knew was not the thing at all. Remember those times when you encountered yourself lost? Everything was in the right place, the time was right, and yet you had this feeling of being lost. Remember the stages, how from that confidence of knowing we pass through doubt, then confusion, irritation, anger, denial. We will be looking at this a little more carefully later. So that was viparyaya, the illusion of knowing. It is a post facto thing. We can only know of this when we pass it by. Otherwise, we keep running from the rope thinking it is a snake. Let us pause a little and listen to a song. This one is in Marathi by the poet Bal Kavi. It describes a moment. A small number of white clouds are dancing around the moon. The night seems solemn, while the wind is wild. The queen of the stars seems to be shining in half sleep, and on the east, gold is gradually flowing in. One can see and one cannot. It is a tranquil moment, as the entire universe seems to hum a holy song. Below, the dark blue trees are still asleep on the banks of the lake, and above, the moon's rays gradually dissolve, and with the barest movement of its lips, the water lets out a sigh. And with the barest movement of the wine, the wind seems to go to sleep. And at this moment, that single upper garment of the untroubled goddess of peace moves just a little bit. And in that passionate movement, in the grove, sings the cuckoo. Now that is communication. Enjoy the song. या शुभ्र विरल अभ्रांच शशी भवती नर्तन चाल, गंभीर धवळ रजनी बेभान पवन ही डोल, तंद्रीतच अर्धी मूर्धी लुकलुकते ताराराणी, ये झुंजुमुंजुते जाणे पूर्वेवर पिवळे पाणी, निस्पंद मंद घटिकाती अंधुकता धुंद भरीत, ब्रह्मांड मंदिरी गाई सौभाग्य सुभग संगीत, निद्रिस्त नीलवनमाला निद्रिस्त सरोवर खाली, वरमूक मोहने जैसे शशिकिरण विरघळले, इवलाच अधर हलवून जलमंद सोडते श्वास, इवलाच वेल लवगून ये निज पुन्हा पवनास, निश्चिंत शांती देवीचा किंचित सांचल झाली, रोमांचक पोली